Let's shift to uh, actually, yeah, let's shift back to movement. What's your training look like at the moment? Because I know you started strength training and stuff really early in your journey,
Yep.
and you started calisthenics and stuff. What's your current training look like? And what are your kind of training goals? What are you chasing?
Um, I'm I'm currently just doing a lot of handstands and locomotion type stuff. So locomotion as in like it's kind of like crawling crawling around on the ground doing animal movements, kind of
Oh yeah,
like the stuff that we were doing before we did this.
yeah, cool.
As far as goals I'm chasing, I'm trying to do a press to handstand.
Yep.
Um,
What
but
can you explain what that looks like? Is
basically
that starting
getting
seated?
in No, just starting hands on the ground, but instead of kicking your legs up, you're just lifting them up
So like,
into handstand in a
okay,
controlled way. Think about a slow motion kick up.
so like a downward dog, but with your head on the ground, like a headstand.
No, hands like the way that you would set up for a handstand,
Yep.
except instead of kicking your legs up in the air using momentum,
Oh, yep,
you're
yep.
using your strength.
Like a pike, but with
Yeah,
your feet on the floor.
exactly. You So that's what I'm working towards.
Yeah, okay.
Um, but I don't hold much attachment to getting that goal,
Yep.
and like um I have done that in the past with handstands and stuff, but then it turns the practice that's meant to be fun and enjoyable into something like I'm really chasing and I've got to do
Mm,
this, and where I approach it in a more playful way
that's
now
good.
that yeah, it'll come eventually because I'm doing the things that will make it come.
Mm.
But if it comes tomorrow, or it comes in 6 months' time, or it never comes, I don't really care.
Oh, cool. Well, that's a good approach to it because like gymnastics and calisthenics, the progressions, some of them take long, long times. Like some of them might be a 8-year process to
Oh,
to get a movement. And
the,
so if
the
that,
gymnastics moves, you just gotta realize you're never gonna get them.
yeah,
'Cause
unless you
some of them,
started
like,
gymnastics when you were
yeah,
like 5.
they're ridiculously like,
Mm.
you see them doing the stuff at the Olympics, and you're like, oh wow, that looks hard, but
You don't
that's
appreciate it
that's
until
crazy
you actually
levels
know
hard.
how much time has gone into getting those movements.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I think that's a good approach to have because if that process is a 3 or even a 2-year goal, if you don't enjoy that process, then it's, 2 years, what's the point of it if you don't enjoy it? So
Yeah.
having an approach where you just kind of go in and want to enjoy the training session, I
Yeah.
think that's a better approach. Like if, for example, if you're going to approach every training session and um, kind of put a lot of pressure on yourself and work really hard at it, and say if it's going to take 6 months and you'll nail it, but it was unenjoyable. If you just approach it a bit less and kind of enjoy it more and maybe not put so much pressure on yourself, but maybe not train it as often. If that instead of 6 months takes a year, like twice as long, but if you enjoy that, I think that's a much better approach.
Yeah. And it comes back to why are you doing it in the first place?
Mm,
And if it's for enjoyment, then enjoy it. Like there was a time where, like when I started handstands in the beginning, it was just play at the park and it was enjoyable and
mm,
I was getting some results. And it wasn't until I maybe started seeing other people and looking at Instagram and following these accounts of people doing better, then you create that comparison, and then it
mm.
goes from being something I'm doing for fun to like this, oh, I need to be better, I need to be better, I need to be better, I need to be like that person or that person.
Mm.
And then
Or
it wasn't fun anymore.
yeah,
And that's when it drove me to a point where I was getting injured,
yeah.
and I just stopped doing them all together for about 2 years.
Well,
And then I came back from that with a mindset of I'm not going to do that again,
yep.
and I'm just going to go with the playful approach.
Yeah, cool. I think that's good. Like whatever movement you do, because we don't live the way that we evolved to live. Just the
No.
society that we created, we don't. So basically we have to do some sort of movement
Yes.
to stay healthy. We have to do some sort of movement, and whatever that movement is, you should enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, then you're not going to stick to it.
Yeah.
And what we have to be able to move, like if we can move through like healthy ranges of motion and keep some sort of base level of strength and hold on to muscle mass, if we can do all that as long as possible, you'll stay injury free and live, a functional lifestyle for a long time in your life. And
Yeah.
so, you should have a goal of moving for your whole life. So if you hate whatever your movement practice is, you're not going to stick to it. So
Yeah.
there's no point doing it unless you enjoy it.
Definitely. And there's nothing really more important than like being, we're in this body and, we have the ability to be able to move. And, this is like circling back to my back injury. That movement was taken away from me.
Mm,
And, I just, that was such a terrible experience at the time that, like, looking back now, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me because it's not only got to me to where I am today, but it's my appreciation for the ability to be able to move. I feel gratitude every day that I can move and do the things that I want to do.
mm.
Like, and your ability to experience life is, how you can move and get around with this, this body that we
Mhm.
have. Like, if you start losing that range of motion, then yeah, you can't walk up that hill, or you know, if some clients and stuff I work with that, you know, I do a neck assessment with them, and you tell them to turn like to the left, and their neck moves like, you
A
know,
tiny bit.
a tiny bit. This is people without pain.
Yep.
So obviously pain is going to limit motion, but this is
Mm.
someone without pain. It's just someone that's how much they move their neck on a day to day. So that's what it kind of gets restricted down to. Now, your whole experience of life is, what you can see around you, what you can do, what. So if it's just narrowing your whole
Wow, I've never thought of it like
view
that.
of the whole world. Like right now, I can look behind us and I can see the ocean and I can see you and I can,
Mm.
I can experience 360 degrees. Where if your neck only moves here to here or up and down, just this tiny bit, that's your view of the world. You're looking through tunnel vision.
It's like playing like Call of Duty, like
Yeah.
first person view
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And instead of being able to turn around, imagine if you can only look up and down and left and right tiny bit.
Yeah.
Limits you a lot.
And you're talking about, yeah, designed to we're not designed to live like we live in
Mm.
this modern kind of context.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to go to the gym and we need to do foam rolling and stretching and
Mm.
all these different like movement pills that we're taking because we're not moving in our day to day. Where previously, we're walking 10 kilometers a day and we're um, sitting in squats and sitting on the ground and hitting, trying to break open nuts and going hunting and throwing, and that's where our movement's coming from. We don't need to go to the gym.
Mm.
We don't need to stretch because our body's going through all the range of motions that it needs to be human and
Mm.
survive. Where now, because everything, I'll tell another thing is like working with a client that was in their 40s, and I got him to um, go down onto the ground, onto his back, and stand back up. And it was a struggle for him. Like,
Just to get down onto his back,
just go from a standing position down onto the ground,
onto the ground, like sitting or lying,
lying, but
whatever.
whatever,
And that was a
onto the
struggle.
ground
Yeah.
and then back up. That was a big struggle.
Yeah. Okay.
So I asked him, when's the last time you had been on the ground like that. A year.
Wow.
A whole year of his life, guy in his 40s, um, that he'd been onto the ground. But you think about it, you wake up in a raised bed,
Mm,
you get out, you go sit on a raised toilet, you go sit in a car seat which is raised, you go to work and sit on these raised
mm,
surfaces. You never everything is like between our torsos and all this ergonomics and
yes.
everything is just like making life easier for this short period of time, but then it's restricting your range of motions to what's in front of you.
Wow.
And yeah, so we previously we're sleeping on the ground, where yeah, sitting in resting squats, we're climbing trees, where so this is the kind of movement that like I obviously the handstands and stuff, that's fun at the park,
Mm,
but the practices, that I'm into, things about longevity,
yes.
moving your spine, like, it's so important. Everyone's walking around with these stiff spines because we're, yeah, in these sedentary positions. So a lot of the time, just getting people moving their spine is going to be so much more beneficial to the way that they experience life than, doing bench press.
Yes. I think that's I think that's spot on what you said. So as we age, basically, I mean, my goal is to live um, functionally for as long as possible in life. So as we age, we experience a process called sarcopenia, which you would be aware of, which is loss of muscle mass.
Yeah,
That just happens as we age. Now,
it does, but like the body's breaking down from, you know, it does break down with aging,
mm,
but it also does follow this lose it or or
yeah.
use it or lose it principle. So
So if
there's
you so if you activate your muscles and do kind of strength training, you will hold on to muscle mass and you
yes,
can eliminate that process from happening or slow it down at least. I don't know if you can eliminate it forever, but that's what I mean by when I said before, if you keep moving, you will continue to be able to keep moving. Once you stop moving and stop moving functionally, that's when your body will, if you like your client, if he didn't, it's a whole year he hadn't been on the ground. So
he's lost
that
that
now he loses
ability.
that
Yeah,
ability to get up and down off the ground. Now, as we age, if we start to like if that client, if he fell over and couldn't get up off the ground, he then loses the ability to live on his own, I guess.
this is the biggest thing with this aging population
Yeah,
is they're worried about old people. Balance is huge
yeah,
because an old person falls over, they can't get
can't get
back
up.
up because when are they getting on the ground?
Mm,
They're not. Um, and it's not just about age as well. So there'd
yep,
be 90-year-olds that are moving better than some 20-year-olds these days.
yes,
So it's just a more about what you do. Like your body is just going to adapt to whatever stresses or whatever movements you
mm,
throw at it. You can see that. You go to the gym, you do some bicep curls, you get some bigger biceps.
mm,
If you bend forward and touch your toes every day, you're going to maintain the ability to be able to touch your toes. If you
mm,
stop doing that movement, you're going to lose that ability.
yes. So I know you don't do CrossFit, but something a part of CrossFit's kind of methodology that I really like. There's some stuff in CrossFit that I don't agree with. Um, I'm yeah, I'm just I want to be completely honest. Some stuff I don't like, but some stuff I really do like.
Like, what kind of stuff don't you like?
So for example, handstand push-ups. I think the average kind of normal person doesn't really need to do a handstand push-up. It is a good expression of human movement.
Mm,
And if you can do handstand push-ups, then that's great. But
it's high level.
it's pretty advanced,
Yeah.
and for a functional movement, I don't think you need to be able to do handstand push-ups to be functional.
Yeah.
Now, in a group fitness scenario that you're doing movements under fatigue and trying to beat a friend or get a better time, if you're doing handstand push-ups and there might be 20 reps, if you know you can't do 20 unbroken, you're going to have to break it up, but you're going to be pushing the limits. Now, as you start to fatigue, every time your head touches the ground, if you're doing them fresh and you can come down and your head touches the ground under control and you press back up to locked out, then
Yeah.
that's fine. But as you start to fatigue, you're going to lose the ability to control that eccentric, that lowering phase. And as you start to lose the ability to control that down, your head's going to hit the ground a little bit harder and harder. And that is dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't think handstand push ups should be done. If your goal is health and longevity, I don't think there's any need to do it. You can, all the benefits you get from handstand push ups, like upper body pushing strength, there are other ways you can accomplish that using a barbell, using dumbbells, kettlebells. Um, there's so many other ways you can do it. You can use bands. Um, it is advanced and you can do handstand push-ups fine, but the average person, I don't think needs to do handstand push-ups,
So,
especially under fatigue when your form starts to break down. That's one thing.
my take on that is that's not a CrossFit issue. That's not a handstand push-up issue. That's a coaching issue.
Mm,
So if someone's got the ability and the strength and the control to be able to do handstand push-ups with a good form, go for it. If you're at the
mm,
CrossFit Games or whatever, yeah, they want to be doing the hardest things.
mm,
But at your local CrossFit gym, if there's handstand push-ups in the workout of the day, and you look at your client base, and not many of them can do normal push-ups very well,
yeah.
then that's a coaching issue, and you need to just be able to assess where people are at.
Mm,
So handstand push-up, nothing wrong with that,
no.
but it's a high level skill.
Yes. That's a good point, actually. So it's up to, and good coaches will be able to identify
Yeah, like
people's
the
ability
beast
and
the
tell
beast
them,
in the
no, you
gym be
can't do it.
like, you're doing handstand push-ups,
Mm.
and the middle-aged guy that's working an office job and he's doing, one CrossFit workout a week,
Mm.
maybe just stay to push-ups or even do them on your knees or in a, on a box or whatever
Mm.
level you're at. Like you've got to have levels because people are always wanting to push themselves.
Yeah,
But
and need something more advanced to aim for or to strive for, and also
yeah,
to test
but
themselves.
that's just the problem with group fitness in general
Mm.
is if it's um, if you just say the workout of the day is we're doing this, this, and this, and handstand push-ups is in that, then you're going to get a few people that can do them and 95% of the people that can't do them with good form.
Mm.
But yeah, if you give options and say
Yeah,
we're going to do a push, which can be a vertical barbell push, it can be a handstand push-up, it can be a normal
normal
push-up
push
or
up.
whatever, give those levels,
Mm.
and then a good coach will put people at those appropriate levels,
Yeah.
and people will push above those levels, you know,
Mm.
eh, which is fine, but that's the individual wanting to risk injury
Yeah.
for an ego boost or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I think the issue is. People that are maybe doing CrossFit on their own without a coach and doing those movements when they probably shouldn't be, but
You could
you
hurt
don't.
yourself doing anything on
Yeah,
your own.
that's true as well.
So, I mean, yeah, that's my take
Mm.
on that.
Yeah. So one of the things that there are a lot of things I do like about CrossFit. One of the things I like is the fact that they did really well to bring functional movement to the masses and make it
Mm,
popular.
definitely.
And they've made a shift. They've actually made a lot of changes recently, but they made a big shift to focus less on the CrossFit Games and more on health and longevity. Now, if you think about movements that you're going to need to do when you get old or throughout life, things like carrying the groceries inside from the car, that's the farmer's carry essentially.
Yeah,
Or even just getting up out of a chair, just a box squat or a chair squat or just a squat in general. So being able to get off the toilet.
there's a big focus on mobility and range of motion, and
Mm,
and I like how they struck. Again, my experience is limited. I've made my own little CrossFit workouts at home and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I think I've went to one class ever, but I thought it was good, well structured, and it was a good coach, and he,
Mm,
had a good warm up section, and we're doing all preparatory movements
mm.
and lots of, and then we moved into more of the bit of strength stuff, and then like skill work, and like you've got a good coach, and it's a good
Yes.
practice.
Yes.
But a bad coach that just says, go hell for leather, then there's potentially be injuries.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing. Um, to be a CrossFit coach, which I don't really agree with this way that CrossFit have gone about their coaching. You can do to coach CrossFit. All you need is a CrossFit Level One certification, which is a weekend course, 2 days, and then you can coach CrossFit. You don't even need to be a qualified personal trainer, or you don't need any,
Really?
yeah, nothing.
That's wild.
So if you can afford a certification, pay it, do a weekend.
Without it being a PT.
Yep, you can coach CrossFit. Now, the things that you can coach in CrossFit are high level gymnastics, handstand push ups, Olympic lifting, like snatching, and not just individual. You can then coach 20 or 30 people in snatching
Yeah.
after doing a 2 day course, which I think that is wrong. But
And
that,
that's like, yeah, that's a high, like doing snatches and stuff. There's a high level, intricate
even just
skill
to coach one person,
with a lot of, yeah,
mm,
minor technique flaw, and you
and,
can have an
and
injury
then you add in a workout where it's for time.
and under high fatigue and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But that's again, that comes down to coaching, and like as a gym owner employing CrossFit coaches, it's up to a gym owner to know this coach has more education than just a 2 day course, or maybe they're a high level athlete with years of personal experience, or whatever. That's just up to a gym owner to make sure that their coaches have the appropriate knowledge to coach a group of people.
Yeah, and if you're running a gym and all your members are getting injured, you're gonna know, okay, we've got to change
There's an
something,
issue, yeah.
or not gonna keep coming back.
So that the fact that you can coach CrossFit after doing 2 days, I mean, you can essentially open a CrossFit gym
Mm.
just with a 2 day course.
That's
If you have
wild.
enough money
Yeah,
to start a gym, 2 days, you can open a CrossFit gym, and if you just pay the affiliate fee. So I think as from looking at from a business perspective, that was a really smart decision from CrossFit because the barrier to entry was so low to open a CrossFit gym. So many gyms opened up worldwide
and it's
because of that. And so I think that kind of helped its spread, which in turn has helped its growth as a sport. So I think that was a good thing business wise. But
and it's just made like, just like a straight bar and like gymnastics rings and all these things, just bringing it into a normal gym, because
mm,
like
there was
you
never
go
that
to a
stuff.
Glovo gym and they're just like these padded bars on angles, and it's just like a nightmare.
Mm,
Where you go to a CrossFit gym, it's just all, yeah, just basic,
mm,
just barbells and flat bars, and yeah, so it's brought all that kind of kit into the more mainstream
yeah,
as well, which has been awesome.
yeah. So I think that's really good. Um, we've got to start to wrap things up
Yeah.
because we've been going for quite a while. But where do you work at? Where do you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so I work at Transcend Health. So
Where's that at?
it's in Broadmeadow.
Yeah,
So just,
in
yeah,
Newcastle.
yep. So just Google it, you'll find it.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, so it's a physiotherapist, and exercise physiologist are the owners.
Oh yeah.
And there's, yeah, myself and another physiotherapist working there. And we also do like group training and stuff like that. So
Mm,
it's like four on four on one training,
yeah.
where everyone's kind of doing the individual programs and stuff like that. So say someone comes to us with a shoulder injury, or let's just say a back injury like mine. So this is how I differentiate the physios that I was going to through my back injury
Mm,
to what we're doing now.
yeah.
And there's other places in Newcastle that are doing a good job as well.
That's good to see.
Yeah, there's a big change happening in physio where it's becoming a lot more exercise based
Mm.
instead of like
Heat
hands-on.
packs.
Yeah, heat packs and just oh God, don't get me started. We'll go for another hour.
Yeah.
But essentially, so some if I walked in now with my injury,
Mm.
um, I would be probably deadlifting within, you know, the first few weeks,
Yeah, cool.
where I was going for years and didn't get past a little red stretchy band.
Yeah.
And it so we make the transition of taking someone in acute pain, giving them strategies that they can help to manage their own symptoms, and then we're getting them into long-term movement strategies, whether that's training with us, getting them back into, you know, whatever gym they're going to or
Or
sport they're
sport.
going to.
Mm.
So we're trying to get people come to us and we want to get them healthy so they don't need to come to come back.
Yeah.
Where some of the old models is just like, yeah, come, heat pack, bit of a
Mm.
massage, come, let's book you in for the next week.
Yeah.
It's this rinse repeat. So anyone listening that's, you know, currently in that cycle, you you don't you don't ever need to come see us, but you need to see someone else.
Yeah.
If you're not getting better, then yeah, go
Mm.
somewhere where you're the you know I, f- I feel that like my role is an educator more than like I'm not doing something to someone. I'm teaching them
Yeah.
the tools that they can use so that they're no longer in pain.
Yeah, great. I think that is the, I think there's an issue in the kind of health and medical system that is like, if you fix your client, then they don't need you, so so then they stop paying you,
Yeah,
and from a business perspective, that's bad. So some people would like not want to fix you completely because then they lose income, which is the wrong system to have. It's
yeah,
completely wrong. So we don't have time now, but that reminds me of the start of the episode where you mentioned painkillers. I wanted to actually ask your thoughts on the medical system and getting prescription drugs instead of which I mentioned was like a band-aid fix. It's
yeah.
not actually fixing the issue. I wanted to actually get your thoughts on that. Maybe we don't have
I'll
time
I'll keep.
now,
I
so
was gonna say I'll keep it super short. Acute
all
pain,
right.
you break your arm, you break your leg. Yeah, you're gonna want some strong painkillers
Mm,
to get you through that period. Long term, you shouldn't be on these strong painkillers for
mm,
a long period of time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
that's my rule.
Nice and short. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
Um,
I might give one more shout out
yeah,
before
give a
we
shout
wrap
out.
things out. Um, so I'm running a mindful movement. I guess it's just a blend of yoga and just other kind of soft, gentle movement practices. Um, just every Wednesday morning, 6:30 in the morning till 7, just
So
as
half an hour.
half an hour Zoom thing. So that's free for anyone to jump on and yeah, just kind of get your spine moving a little bit
Yeah,
and
sweet. Where can people find that link?
On my Instagram, which is Luke A Russ, um, and like I posted on my Facebook, which Luke Russell,
Yeah, I'll put the social media handles in the show
yeah,
notes.
and it might also get shared on Transcend Health page every now and
Yeah,
then too.
cool. So what's their Instagram? Is it just Transcend Health?
Yeah, it's a Transcend Health AU or something like that. Or
Yeah, sweet.
again,
I'll
top
chuck that in as
people
well.
know how to Google
Yeah,
search
people can
things.
search stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, that's pretty much all we got time for. Is there anything else you want to give a shout out for
uh,
before we wrap things up?
nah, let's end it there, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it's time to end it. But nah, hopefully we can do this again because we've been talking for nearly 2 hours straight. So clearly, and I feel like there's more we can dive into. We didn't even dive into meditation at all, which I think we did on the
Yeah,
first
I
take of
think we
this.
spoke for most of the first one on meditation.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
all right. Save it for another.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to have to wrap it up. So thanks heaps for coming on the show, Luke.
Cheers, man.
All right, guys. If you enjoyed this, please take a screenshot and share it. I'd love to see who's listening. And also, please subscribe and give a rating on iTunes. Sending positive vibes to everyone out there. Thanks heaps for listening.